Uncle Jack, tell me about D-Day. Your mission on D-Day.
I wanted to know now.
Yeah, I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me from takeoff to landing.
Oh yeah. Well, it was a foregone conclusion that D-Day was going to happen anyway. No matter what anybody did, D-Day was bound to happen. And that's the thing that the Germans didn't quite understand. They thought, well, we'll fight the buggers off and they go back to England. But D-Day happened. It was just a massive attempt to get into Europe. But it had to be done, and it had to be done properly. But the overwhelming mass of men, materials, guns, ammunition, every single thing was listed in the south of England. It was just chock-a-block from halfway up England right all the way down to about 4 or 5 different bays on the south coast. Some I know because we were on holiday down at Salcombe. Dartmouth was one, and on the coast there was Dartmouth, Salcombe, another bay, Weymouth, or maybe 6 or 8 big coastal towns ready to go. And when Eisenhower said, right, we're off, they went. It was postponed for a day in rough weather conditions. But it had to go anyway because of the massive attempt that was there. They couldn't sort of put it up anymore. So they went the day after, which wasn't so bad, but it was bad enough. It was a bad day. It wasn't a calm day. It was June 4th, I think. And they had to go anyway. So they went, Eisenhower said, right, we're off, and the whole lot went across. And we were flying in a normal operation from Middleton St George with a load of normal bombs to attack the beachhead on D-Day. Before they went in, that's half an hour before the whole lot went in, we overflew the beaches. We saw everything happening below. We could see everything. We shouldn't have gone in at 20,000 feet. We should have gone in at 5 or 10,000 and knocked the bloody daylights out of them. But we're too high up for deadly accuracy. Our aiming point was Mayville Gun Centre at one end of D-Day Beach, which were 5 miles long, and I've been there twice ever since. Wonderful sight, a wonderful country up there at Normandy. It was about 5 miles long. There was a massive gun emplacement, and I mean a massive gun emplacement at Mayville, and a massive gun place on Point du Hoc on the shorehead at Omaha, remember. And these were covered in the beachhead. If any troops went in, they'd knock the bloody stuffing out of them. But they had to go in anyway, so they bloody well went in. And we could see this happening at 20,000 feet because we know what to do except look down and look around. But we were at a safe height at 20,000 feet where they would find it deadly accurate for us to be shot down at that height. If I'd have been Eisenhower, I'd have gone in at 5 or 10,000 feet, blasted those 2 batteries out of existence before the troops went in, but he didn't do that. And they suffered tremendous losses on the beaches when they went in. So we were flying above all this time. We know what to do, but except go back to Middleton, so we stuck there. We went about 20,000 feet, and then John said, well, let's go home, Wadley. You say, yeah, we'll go now. So we left, and when we went back over the beach, over the sea, there was dozens and dozens and thousands of ships, hundreds of them, coming all this way, slowly, all clear. And it was all clear for them, because prior to going in, I and 6 group of the Canadian Air Force mined every single water outlet that went into the sea so that the Germans could not attack the ships that were going across. They were clear the way to go, and there were just thousands and thousands of them. And it went on for days and days till they took tanks across and bloody great guns, massive guns they took across, all on the water. And then the clever lads, the beach heads, or when they got to the other side, they immediately formed a beachhead of wood construction, which was prefabricated prior, and it was hauled across and assembled so that big boats could go up to the boat and unload the troops or whatever they got, and get off, and then go back for some more. So it was just a massive success. It couldn't be halted in any shape or way. The gunfire was terrific. We saw it all because there were big naval boats there, banging away at the two beachheads, Point Duoc and Maryhill. There were two gun points there, and the Navy were banging away with the big ships, big ships, 16-inch guns, at the beachheads, and it was quite effective.
Were they your two targets? Were they your two targets?
Yeah.
Those machine gun points?
Oh yeah, well that's how I'm coming on to that. So eventually they got quite a number of ships across, a lot of them, and they were clambering across the beachhead. And if you want a film about it, I've got a film.
Saving Private Ryan.
Saving Private Ryan. It's a wonderful picture. It's very, it's true to type, really, dead on. It's a wonderful picture. You can borrow it any time. They were going across like that, but the losses were very, very heavy because of the two gun points there and there, especially at Point Duoc, which was Omaha Beach. And that was the American beach, and they suffered very heavy losses because the gun point was up at, the cliff head was up about 100 feet, and they had to climb up the vertical cliff. Every American soldier to get to the top. They eventually got to the top by shooting cords or ropes up a metal tube that they got, and they just shoot it up, and then the lads climbed up holding the cord, and eventually they blew up there was a big machine gun post right at the top of Point Duoc, and it was taking a terrible loss on the Americans, but eventually they got it and blew it up sky high, and that cleared them for that end. Maryhill was a very big gun emplacement. They'd overrun that because it was just a massive, it was like from here down to Waterloo in a big circle. We should, that was our target, but we didn't very well hit it like a silly sod. That's why I said I reckon it should have gone alpha level at a two-gun position, but it didn't. They were undefended, and they made hell with the American soldiers in particular. Lost a hell of a lot. In fact, we can visit these sites, and me and Margaret's been 2 or 3 times because we know France like the back of his hand. And we've got some good holidays in Normandy and around. So we went to near the beach. We went up to the graveyard, and there are 9,000 American graves. Thousands of them. And a huge American monument. That's at Omaha Beach. And if you mention Omaha to any American, it was a massive American effort at that Point Duoc. but they did get there in the end. And it's all in the film, what do you call it?
Saving Private Ryan.
Saving Private Ryan is a bloody good, yeah, he did a good acting part. Robert Ryan, wasn't it?
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks, yeah.
It's very accurate, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
Omaha was very bad, wasn't it?
Yeah. So the casualties were very heavy, and you can walk all around the graveyard on top of it, and you can stand on top of the cliffs where the machine gun was firing down on them. There'd be several machine guns firing down and knocking. The American losses were terrible. The graveyard is absolutely massive, full of white crosses of American lads.
I'm sure you made a difference though. That was your target on Omaha Beach.
Yeah. We should have either gone for plenty, or we could have got that. We could have done that easily. Down at 5,000 or 10,000 feet, it would have been easy to do. We're up at 20,000 feet, regulation height, bloody hopeless. So we'd missed our target. Our target was Mayerville. We bombed Mayerville, which is a little town that's surrounded by the huge gun positions. But that was at low level. Fort York was up at high level, about 1,000 feet maybe, and we could have hit that easily.
Yeah.
So I now should have knocked them two gun positions out before the Lords went in. We could have done easily. They could have put a fleet of American smaller bombers in, because the Yanks like the smaller bombers. They're very good, accurate at very low level. They'd have knocked that gun position for a bloody six, I'm sure of it. And they didn't do that. They was flying on us at 20,000 bloody feet up in the air. We couldn't you can't hit a small target like that.
Wow.
Not with the Halifax or the Lancaster. But that was our job, and there were enough of us over there that wasn't a shortage of planes, with plenty of planes. But they should have been put out of action first thing before the rods went in, because it's a terrible thing that happened at Omaha.
It would have made it a lot easier for them. But I'm sure you still made a big difference though, Uncle Jack.
Yeah. So, eventually we moved around a bit with no order to get back home. There were no anti-aircraft guns there. So we moved around a bit. Then we went back to Middleton St George. We went back over the sea, and there were hundreds and hundreds of ships coming in straight onto the beaches. We saw all that happening, and we went back home.
Not many people got to see that, did they?
And we got us bacon and eggs, debriefing, back to bed. And we got an early morning call. You're up again tomorrow morning, lads. I said, well, tomorrow, yeah. You're going to the Coutance, 10 miles below the beachhead. It's a massive railway station yard, gathering place for the railways, and the Germans were using it to fill their ammunition dumps up by the beaches. It was an ammunition supply centre for the beaches. So we just knock it out, Jack. So we'll just knock the bloody place out.
And you hit that one?
Right behind me was a sad thing. I was up in the Astrodome looking backwards, and the one behind us just went up with a massive explosion and blew itself up. That was a Lancaster or Halifax.
Because it got hit?
That was a terrible sight, but I saw that right behind me. And we came through. The anti-aircraft was pretty heavy, and we came through all right, and we got back home and went to bed again. debriefed, bacon and eggs, and back home. We didn't go the other night, but we were only about 2 hops to do to finish a tour of operation of 37, and that was about the 35th, something like that. So June 4th. So we got the information that we were finishing flying of 37 operations, and we did Coutances after D-Day and Brest after that. That was an ammunition filling station for the Germans at Brest, just opposite below us. So we dropped our bombs on Brest and finished flying operationally. I was then a sergeant, and John Tinkley was a sergeant. But they put me down to a school down at Wines